And it's an eye-opener for those who challenge the Citizenship Amendment Act. It's a fact that Hindus living in Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan are a persecuted lot, particularly in context of what has recently been taking place in the country of Bangladesh, and of course what the persecution, the shocking, blood-curdling images that have been coming out of Bangladesh. In context of this, really the question that needs to be asked is why those who are opposing CAA at that point of time, how will they justify the injustices and the atrocities that are being meted out to Hindus in India's neighborhood? Also the question, of course, that arises is why India, despite enacting a law close to 2 years ago, has not been able to notify the rules for the same.
सीए की मुखालफत अपनी जगह पर है। उसको सीए को लेकर पूरी दुनिया में भारत की और नरेंद्र मोदी की निंदा हुई है और आज भी वो चल रहा है सिलसिला। जहाँ तक कि बांग्लादेश में जो घटना हुई है वो बहुत ही निंदनीय है और भारत सरकार को और या प्रधानमंत्री को सीधे वहाँ के प्रधानमंत्री से बात करना चाहिए।
We were opposed to CAA. We are opposed to CAA and we will oppose CAA. Giving citizenship will not serve the interest. If we give citizenship to Bangladeshi Hindus, then the fundamentalists of Bangladesh will get encouraged. They will put more pressure and they will compel Hindu brothers and sisters of Bangladesh to leave their own country.
To connect what is happening in Bangladesh with the CAA agitationists may not be right thing to do. CAA, those who object, have their own case which needs to be patiently heard.
अगरचे बांग्लादेश में वहाँ की माइनॉरिटी हिंदू भाइयों के साथ ज्यादती हो रही है तो बिल्कुल सीए जैसा कानून लाना चाहिए और जो लोग भी परेशान हैं हमारे हिंदू भाई उनको भारतवर्ष में अगर नेशनलिटी मिलती है तो हम इसका वेलकम करना चाहिए। परंतु मैं उसी के साथ कहता हूँ रोहिंग्या के अंदर म्यांमार में अफगानिस्तान में जो हमारा पड़ोसी मुल्क है वहाँ की माइनॉरिटी के साथ वहाँ मुसलमानों के साथ अगर ज्यादती हो रही है और अगर मुसलमान आना चाहता है तो आप सीए में मुसलमानों को माइनस करते हो। मैं समझता हूँ ये बहुत बड़ी नाइंसाफी है।
जब सीए नहीं है तो सीए क्यों नहीं है, क्यों हो रहा है तो सीए क्यों हो रहा है। आज सीए का जरूरत पड़े कहाँ है सीए, तो हर स्टेज में आप अलग अलग बात करें। आप चाह रहे हैं कि इसकी जरूरत है। जो आज की घटना आपके सामने सबूत है, बांग्लादेश से, पाकिस्तान से, अफगानिस्तान से संख्यालघु को भाग भाग के आ रहे हैं, उन्हीं को यहाँ से यहाँ हिंदुस्तान में सुनिश्चित उनकी नागरिकता करने के लिए, सम्मान देने के लिए हमने कानून बनाया था। आप विरोध कर रहे थे और रूल बुक फाड़ रहे थे, संविधान का और संसद का अपमान कर रहे थे। आज आपको लग रहा है कि यहाँ जरूरत है और इसीलिए सरकार बहुत दूरगामी चिंता करके ये कानून बनाया था। मुझे लगता है इसकी सख्त जरूरत है।
Let's go across to our guest for more on this. With us is Anurag Dixit, a political analyst. Also with us is Tausifur Rahman. He's a political analyst as well. And let me begin with Anurag Dixit on this subject. Anurag, very, very important because what we are seeing here, what we have seen across the country is there have been protests that have taken place. Various political leaders have taken up the issue. They had objected to the CAA. But now, in the context of the violence that is taking place, the persecution that is taking place of Hindus, the shocking scenes, we've seen protests taking place across the world on this issue, not just here in India. Clearly at some level or the other, the rationale of those protests have to be questioned, because it is a fact that Hindus, whether in Pakistan, whether in Bangladesh or in other parts of our neighborhood, are being persecuted.
Right. And thanks, Madhav. And I would like to point out, the phrase that you used before, that is Hindophobia, right? Opposition to CAA is nothing but Hindophobia, and all the arguments, the only logic behind that is the same. It is Hindophobia. We clearly see it now that CAA is needed, and it is needed now. The government should have notified it earlier, but it needs to do it now. This is the country, this is the bhumi where, Hinduism originated. If we don't take care of Hindus, who else will?
Question across to Tausifur Rahman. Tausifur Rahman, at the end of the day, there has been a lot of positioning when it comes to the CAA. But who can deny the fact that these are citizens who need a home, they need a shelter and a safe and secure environment, which perhaps no other country except for India can provide that? So why object to the CAA in the first place?
Madhav, I still object CAA, and I am not in support for CAA because I have some certain reasons. And once again, I'm going to tell you there are a lot of speculation, and Bangladesh become an epicenter of again this Hindu khatre mein. It is not about Hindu khatre mein or Musliman khatre mein. You know, I've been to Bangladesh several times, and let me tell you, Madhav, if I start again for Bangladesh, there are 30% Hindu minorities who are working as a diplomat and the bureaucrats. So the Hindus over there are totally fine, you know, and I believe that
you
no
don't think
Hindu,
that these
let me tell you,
images of them being targeted, these whisper
please.
campaigns,
I'm going to
these slander campaigns, WhatsApp campaigns that are used to actually unleash violence on them is acceptable according to you? What are you saying, sir?
My Hindu brothers...
No, but what are you saying? You're saying that they should just remain susceptible, sitting ducks to violence?
Just let me complete everything.
No,
so my
please,
Hindu
at least the very least you can do, sir, is not make a shocking complaint, shocking comparison saying that they're absolutely safe in Bangladesh. How can you say that?
You know, our words are just colliding. Just let me finish. My Hindu brothers, whether they're Indians in Bangladesh or Pakistan, will never do such inappropriate situation, or they will bring inappropriate situation where they will place a holy book Quran in an inappropriate place, and no Muslim will take a photo seeing that. So you know this, you have to understand, this whole speculation is a charade. You know,
sir,
it is nothing but a big gimmick.
Sir, is the violence a speculation?
Sir, we
are you saying the violence is speculation? Are you saying it's a figment of somebody's imagination?
It will be an injustice to our people.
Come on,
in
Tawseefur Rahman,
Sir,
this is not expected. This is not expected, Tawseefur Rahman. X will not do this, Y will not do this. So they should just sit there and be the victims of violence.
I'm not worried about any Hindu.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rahman, this is absolutely shocking. This is shocking because you sound like you're almost in denial of the existence of violence in Bangladesh. Why are you being an apologist for those who have carried out communal violence?
From Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. Sir, in your page, in Times Now Facebook page, today I saw it myself from my two eyes, that Sri Lankan Muslims are in a bad condition. Will you?
But I want Shaina to respond to that. Shaina, please respond to Tawseefur Rahman.
Look, first, the CAA Citizenship Amendment Act, what does it basically says? The act seeks to amend the definition of illegal immigrant for Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Buddhists, Christian immigrants, whether it's from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and in this particular case, Bangladesh. So for those who are just critiquing for the heck of it, they should understand that the CAA was established as a coastal Authority Act of 2005, which was a Gazette notification. When this came up in Parliament, the hue and cry, one second, sir, let me finish. We need to understand that Indians across the board, whether it's Indian origin, people who are to be secure of a so-called people from undivided India, this goes back to 1955. The Indian government, when it passed the Citizenship Act in 1955, the Act provided two means for foreigners to acquire Indian citizenship from people across the board. And after you have this kind of violence, how can you be in denial and how can you be of the opinion that it is not necessary?
No. We are not talking about that. We should not talk about the Hindus and Muslims, ma'am. We should talk about our own economy, own situation.
No, Shainaji, you are being apologetic when you should not be. You are being apologetic when you should not be. You know, people like Tawfiq should be exposed.
The CAA allows persecuted minorities belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Parsis, Muslims or Christians, and I don't need to be apologetic about it, sir. I think Tawfiq has lost the point. He doesn't seem to realize that.
No, but Shaina, I will ask you one simple question. Shaina, NC, there is one question that has not been raised by either Tawseef or, but it was referred to by Mr. Anurag Dikshit, and I want to ask you this question. One second, Tawseef. Shaina, NC, if this is such an important burning issue, and we are seeing signs of this in India's neighborhood all around, why is it that it is almost 2 years since we are waiting for the CAA rules to be notified? If this is such a pressing need or demand, why aren't we going ahead and pressing with it?
Let me please tell you on record, this is a very strong government. The Honorable Prime Minister, the Home Minister are not just dictators here. They believe in the rule of democracy, and obviously Rajya Sabha being done. The violence in Bangladesh is part of an ethnic cleansing. And that's why we need to ensure that when we demanded CAA or NRC in Bengal, the reason is You have a certain segment that is only a misinformation campaign, which is trying to
But
play
why aren't we
all
implementing
kinds
it,
of
ma'am?
false
My
things.
question still remains,
So
and that
if we
question
need
still
to
remains
reject-
unanswered. Unfortunately, if there are thousands, tens of thousands or lakhs of citizens who actually are waiting for that citizenship from other countries, why is that not being implemented despite the fact that this has been passed by Parliament? We still will wait for the government to respond on that one. For the moment, we're slipping into a quick break. I'd like to thank Shaina NC, Anurag Dikshit and Tausifur Rahman for joining us.